I'm trying to tell him. Hey, everybody. I think Glenn is having some technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah, I didn't push
We
him.
are here.
God, oh, I knew I was going to do that, too.
I'm Amanda, and this is my lovely co-host, Glenn.
Coming to you live from my mom's attic. You didn't get that part. And in the eye of the storm, we are so dedicated. We are here under hurricane and earthquake watches and warnings. And good Lord, it's just chaos. So, and
Yes.
I'll have to edit that crap out. All right. Good God. Well, our first guest shouldn't really be a guest. We should just call him a regular because we love him so much. Let's welcome Greg out. You will remember Greg. Well, everybody remembers Greg. He's that weirdo that films the Bigfoot movies. So
I know I wore my hat just for Greg tonight.
I'm doing fabulous. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing well. We have missed you. So what's new in your life since we last chatted?
Kidney stones.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, besides that, I had a really good productive meeting today with a new manufacturer for my DVDs. And I do believe that I'll have that all squared away and wrapped up real soon. And yeah, I was thoroughly pleased with the way the meeting went today.
Awesome. I can't wait to see the new movie.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen the teaser for the new film?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's so good.
Man, you're missing out. You're missing out, bud.
I'll have to go check it out. Yeah, well, I've been preoccupied for the past 2 months, so.
Mm-hmm.
It has a little creepy vibe to it. I love it.
Yeah, me too. I've been preoccupied.
Is it spooky?
It's darker. It is. It's going to be darker this time than the other ones, because it's centering around missing people in the national forests. So I wanted to give it its due reverence, so that there's going to be some light moments in it, but for the most part, it's going to be much darker than the first two films.
Awesome.
Can't wait. It really does feel creepy in the preview.
Mm-hmm.
Did I guess you researched a lot of the cases. Did you have one particular that was stand out, or was it just the whole?
Well, we focused in on two cases. There's certainly a lot of cases there, and I don't want to seem like any of the other cases were insignificant, because they're not. Each and every one of them has their equal amount of importance. However, we did focus on some of the ones that we could get more of the information on. So we focused in on Dennis Martin and Mike Heron, and they both vanished relatively close to each other, but two very different time periods.
When you say time periods, you mean years or time of day?
Yeah, like in years, and both of them was in broad daylight. Yeah, so Dennis Martin disappeared in 1969, and there was a huge effort that went into trying to find him, and they were unsuccessful. And Mike Heron, and I keep forgetting the exact date. I forgot whether it's 2005 or 2008 that he disappeared. So it was much more recent. And the circumstances around his disappearance was quite strange as well, because he apparently took off on his SUV down a dirt road on his property, and whatever it was, he left his wallet and all of his other effects in his truck. So he wasn't robbed, but there, you know, where he left the SUV, the ATV rather, his four-wheeler, it just leaves a whole lot of questions because the four-wheeler was like it was just parked there, and but there was never ever a sign of of him anywhere. Somebody's got a monster at their house.
Yeah, I was messaging Amanda. It sounds like she's got a ghost in her background.
Yeah, she's got a monster there.
Something's going on. I'm like, what? I keep lighting up, and I'm like, there's no noise.
Yeah, there is. I hear it.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
distracting because I have ADD.
It's like a roar.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe
Did
turn
you
down.
just hear that?
I can
Did you hear that? No, did you just hear that when she was turning the dial? It sounded like an FM dial, and there was like a voice in there. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like you were turning an FM dial.
That's weird. I wonder if I'm picking up something I shouldn't be picking up.
I don't know.
Probably he does.
Maybe it's whatever, took this guy. Do they ever expect like aliens or anything like that, Greg? That took him?
Well, it's still a mystery. And I'm not going to give out too many details about some of the conclusions that we came to.
Yeah.
But there's some interesting history behind it. There's some evidence that comes out that that people knew, or the people in powers that be rather knew of the wild people there, the feral people, and there were some efforts to eliminate them. And it's really interesting, and particularly with the Dennis Martin case. Eventually Green Berets came in, and Green Berets are they're not search and rescue people.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Can
Yeah. So
you tell us where it happens?
Cades Cove area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's this place called Spence Field where Dennis Martin went missing, and not far from there, maybe just a mile or two, as the crow flies, is where Mike Heron went missing.
And what year did Mike go missing again?
It was either 2005 or 2008. I can't remember which. It was much more recent.
Okay. Did they call out the National Guard or anything for him, or?
No, they didn't call out the National Guard for Mike.
Okay.
But there was a search that went on for Mike, and it was substantial as well. So
no idea what that one was.
Do they have anything like plaques or anything at Cades Cove about this?
No.
No?
Actually, they discourage you from telling the stories because they, some of the witnesses, some of the witnesses that we included in the film, I'm going to have to hide their identity because they get a lot of flack from the local businesses whenever they tell these stories. So they particularly one in particular wants to have his identity hid. But the conclusion on Dennis Martin was incredible. And I'm not going to give it away, but the conclusion that we came to on that was incredible. And I'll tell you what it did. I went about it in an unusual way. I wanted to throw another angle on the investigation. So what I did is I took 2 remote viewers and interviewed 2 remote viewers, and they both independently came up with some of the same conclusions.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Bet I know one of them.
You might. You might.
And at least one. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
well, let me, since I know about remote viewing,
mhm.
did you blind target them separately?
Yeah, they were separate. Yes. I interviewed one in Alabama and another one in Georgia.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet I know at least one of them. And, we did one of my first shows. I did a case about 2 missing firefighters off of the coast of Florida that were never found. And I had a bunch of psychics and remote viewers view it, and we brought each one on independently. They didn't know other people were going to be on. They thought the show was about them and what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
And man, some of them were like all together on certain things, and then other ones were like they were picked up by aliens. And yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So and when we, as typical, we went out and did some investigations of our own and came up. We saw some very interesting things, and it's a very dangerous point again in this film that we'll save it for the film. But there's one point that became very dangerous.
I like it.
Yeah.
Stephanie was asking if they are still gone. And you said neither were found, correct?
Neither were found. Yeah, neither were found, and they're presumed dead. However, there's some suggestion on one that may still be alive. But, yeah, we'll talk about that, in the film. I'm not going to give away too much of it. I don't mind talking about films and what all's in them because it's in my opinion, it's just good advertising, right? It's like when I went to the when I had my meeting today with the new manufacturer. We kind of skimmed through the film, and it was like, wow. I mean, the film is the production value on the film was just fantastic. And so he got to pick up bits and pieces about what it's about, and him and his staff's going to actually watch it tomorrow when they have their staff meeting to see if they can meet my quota. I gotta have my quota. I've got to have 500 by May. So,
are you doing a premiere like you did on the last one?
For this new one, I might. I actually really enjoyed that. It was a lot of work, but I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. It was unfortunate that we had a storm coming through, and there was a lot of there were some cancellations, but had aside from those cancellations, it would have been completely packed in there. So I was really happy. I hope that everybody else had a good time because I had a blast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it was fun enough. I may do it again. It's and this one's going to be much different. And since I know what I'm doing now, hey, yeah. But before all this is brand new. I mean, how often does some jackleg from Warrior, Alabama get a film premiered and at AMC theater? That's not often.
We had a great time. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have somebody on in a little while to talk about aliens. So
aliens.
It's no wonder that Amanda's having some.
I know. I tried to turn it, and it's still popping up.
On that note, have I given my alien story to you guys? My encounter story.
Oh, was it when you were a child?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
I'm
good.
always able to want to hear more. So
Oh yeah.
Well, the story's always the same. I mean, I tell as much as I can remember. Yeah. But when I was a small kid, we had just this beam of light come down, and I saw something the other day that really reminded me of it. It was these dudes that was cleaning rust off of like metal objects with these lasers, and I started looking at the edge as it was being running that laser over the rust, right? And I was like, that reminds me of the edge of the light beam that came down on us, because it was very, very well defined, right? And there was zero diffusion uh, in the light beam. So, and then I remember being able to feel the light, right? Like it was something tangible. Of course, it was like static electricity or something. So anyway, I had the light.
I'm
Huh?
gonna mute you for a minute, Amanda, because it's horrible.
Yeah,
Okay. I had
you
no
got
idea what's
monsters.
going on.
You
Okay.
get, she's got monsters.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were roaring. Just you can unmute yourself when you want, Amanda. It was a little loud. So, when you said that, that brought up instantly something for me, which is weird, but because I hadn't thought about that in a long time. But I remember as a kid sitting on the couch and a storm was coming up and I was looking out the window. This is when I was outside of Washington, D.C., and lightning struck. And when it did, it was like it came through and it went into my hand. I mean, it didn't hurt or anything, but I could say when you were talking about that, that was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's kind of weird. So interesting. Did it have the sparks too? Like when you were talking about with the, I guess they're deoxidizing, I guess is the technical term. Did it have the beam of light have the sparks around it, or was it just
I don't remember seeing that. I can't say that it didn't, but I don't remember seeing that. I do remember like holding my hands out like this and thinking that thoughts through a kid's mind is just strange, but I remember thinking, I can hold this light. I'm holding it, you know? But again, it was probably the static electricity from when it was or something. I don't know exactly what. Oh, Dizzles. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That scared me.
Everybody went to sleep. I'm joining.
Yeah. So, and then it had the ability to go through my grandmother's porch once we were, I remember being on the porch, right? And so that part was really weird. And with the point where the light like shined down on us, it was kind of dusky dark. You could still see, but it was kind of dusky. And when when I was on my grandmother's porch, it was completely dark. I mean, very, very dark. So some time had passed, but I don't recall how much time. And I don't remember how I got to my grandmother's porch. And again, my brother saw the craft. It was like, a giant triangle,
Wow.
So,
It was weird when you were saying that did just come back to me when you said that. And when you held your hand out, that was the same thing I did to the lightning at the window.
Huh.
Okay. I'm going to stop thinking about that because now you got me thinking I was picked up by ET.
Yeah, you may have been, brother.
You
may
probed,
actually have been.
You were so probed.
You were probed. I was probed yesterday, Dizzles.
I heard you had an experience.
I did. Oh my God, I did. So I know how Cartman feels now.
You guys, my ass.
It's just a joke, guys. It's just a joke.
And Scott Baio gave me a pink eye.
Scott Baio.
Good Lord. I never know what I get when I'm getting a dizzle.
Especially
Amanda, did you go ahead?
I say, especially when it's not got nothing to lose right now, just hanging out.
I'm not sure really what to make of that comment. I'm just going to leave it on the screen.
Yeah, just leave it right there.
Dog the bounty hunter?
Well,
Except put it over on Dizzle's side. I don't want him thinking that it was happened to me.
I am a dog.
Yeah, Chris asked, how did I ever forget it? I mean, I guess I didn't forget it because when you started talking about it, I was like, yeah, I remember I can see my neighbor's house and the lightning bolt. And when you said you had your hand on it, I was the same thing. It was like, wow, the lightning came through the glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which would be very unusual for lightning to do that, to come through glass. Yeah. So I'm not so sure it was lightning there, Glenn.
Yeah, great. Well, now I got another story to tell on BobbyDizzle.com. So and apparently that's her boyfriend's nickname, so it's okay. Yo, dog. So
No. Wow.
What?
That changes everything.
So when will this next be the one you're working on now come out?
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, lesson learned from the Land Between the Lakes. We put it out as soon as it was completed. We put it out, and I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to make sure that all the DVDs are ready and everything else is ready to go. So it might be early 26.
Yeah, about that DVD, Greg.
Yes. I was just telling Glenn there, Dizzles, that I had a good meeting today with a new manufacturer. So I think this new manufacturer can do it. They looked at it, he said it should be no problem. And he's local, so I can go and visit him anytime I want to. And
you'd think that Brent would know somebody.
You would think.
That's Eddie Van Adler, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I just when you've never done this kind of stuff before, and you don't really have a mentor to. And what I say by a mentor is say you're not working in the business or anything, you're just kind of doing it off the cuff. You make mistakes, and
there's a lot to be made too.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes to be made, and unfortunately, we made a few with choosing the wrong production company or manufacturer, rather, their own manufacturing company, and they couldn't fix the errors, so I had to go with somebody else, and unfortunately, it kind of made me look bad. So before I get the next film off, I'm going to correct that error, and everything's going to be working 100%.
It's not. You don't look bad. I mean, that's just a part of the game. You explained it pretty well.
Yeah.
And you gave me a copy of it, tied me over. It's on my phone right now. I can watch it anytime I want.
Yeah. You can even go to sleep watching it.
Yeah.
He's bootlegged it.
No, Greg gave it to me.
Yeah, I gave it to him.
He thought I was insulting him. What I meant was your thing was interesting. So
he told the entire audience at in Georgia at a conference that he goes to sleep watching my or my video puts him to sleep every night. I'm like, thanks, Diz. I appreciate it.
I was like, that sounded worse. That sounded not what I meant to say in my head.
So thanks. You're saying I'm boring. Okay.
There's a reason you're not on the emails, Bobby.
For the reason, yeah. Put everybody to sleep.
Wow. Amanda, jump in here if you think you got it fixed. Because we need a beautiful lady's opinion instead of these two hairy
guys.
we
do.
Hairy guys. I thought hairy man was the point.
How's that?
Yo, beautiful.
Ooh. Oh, excellent.
I just uninstalled and reinstalled everything.
Yay. This sounds perfect. sounds perfect.
We're gonna be talking about aliens and Bigfoot and stuff like that, and it always does weird stuff when we do that. So
you ever had Joey the UFO magnet on? He'll mess everything you have up.
Great.
Oh, what?
Joey the UFO magnet? That guy long.
No,
he looks like Mama Murdoch a little bit, but my stuff always messes up when he's on. I'm like, what are you doing, man? You sell your soul to the devil? Like, what the hell? You're 1,000 miles from me.
It's every time.
Yeah, it is every time. There's some weird.
I can't say that I know him.
He's a pretty interesting fella. I recommend talking to him if you got a chance. Joey the UFO magnet. That's what he goes by.
Is he local? Or
I don't know where he's at.
Oh.
I don't think so. I'd have to look. I want to say Colorado or New York.
What, now that you say that, I think you might be right, because I think I did see some videos where he was up around the skyline of a big city. So
I know he took. He's a good. I didn't really care, but he took and like re-aired my episode with him as his own. I'm like, I don't have enough ass behind me to be complaining about that stuff. It's free advertising. But I'm like, man, you just can't do that.
Well,
we'll see where he's from. Yeah, he's a fun guest. But he broke, the little dock that I have with my laptop with all my extensions on it. It fried. I had to get a new one. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Just like smoked out. I mean, it just didn't work anymore.
Just quit. I mean, as soon as we tried to connect for his episode, my stuff broke. I had to get new things.
Wow.
I had it for. I'm like, what in the actual hell, man? and I got a new one. The next time we just kind of did it real slow. So let's do this real slow. Don't touch anything.
Baby steps.
Greg, have you been to Elkmont?
I have not.
I want to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of places I've not been. I've been lucky enough to have some experiences, wherever I've gone. But I mean, it's not like though that I've discovered these places because I was really told where to go, and I've just accompanied other people that's been there, and nobody has offered to take me to Elkmont.
Well, I'll go. Let's go to Elkmont.
Yeah, you're going to Elkmont.
You talking about Elkmont,
I'm not
Alabama?
sure. No, it's like an old town that was hidden away in the Smoky Mountains. So I'm not sure how hard it is to get to it, but it's pretty overgrown. But
I know what
you can actually go. You can go and walk through the buildings and stuff.
I think it's a hike, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Isn't that one of
I'm
the
not
towns that was involved in the Manhattan Project?
That was Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was two in Tennessee. Two towns in Tennessee.
Was. There's something about Elkmont.
I don't know of another one, but there may have been. But yeah,
it's on the ghost town list along with Cades Cove.
Didn't you and I have a big talk about it one time or something?
Yeah, I was talking to you about it in the chat when you were talking about doing your Appalachian research. I was like, "Oh, you need to look into this." Yeah,
dude, I think I'm going to do that. Like every state in Appalachians, do like a whole hour on it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I definitely want to go to Elkmont, though. If you want to go,
Dizzles, you got to go on an investigation with me sometime.
I think we'll try to be there in October if I can bring the little one with me.
Yeah, she just can't. Yeah, she just can't go out with us.
We'll make her bait. Tie a rope around her and send her into things.
No, I promise you, the encounter that we had there was extremely scary and intense, and I would not want to put her in that. I wouldn't want to put anybody in that situation.
What makes you think I want to do that? That scares me.
Well, you got to be bait. I don't mind putting you in there as bait.
I want Bobby to do it. Yes, pick Bobby.
I'm Catholic. That stuff's real to me. That stuff will get me.
It's real. It is. It's real. What I mean, I saw one. and you saw how my camera guy acted and reacted. I mean, it's real. Everybody there saw. I wasn't the only one that saw it, so I'm glad of that. There was another guy that saw it there.
I played that scene for my family at Sunday dinner last week.
For Sunday dinner?
Yeah, we were
an ultimate fanboy.
We were having Lottie's 5th birthday party at my aunt's house, and my cousin who likes that kind of stuff was asking if whatever I'd ever been around. I'm like, God, I said, there's a pretty cool piece of evidence with the knock and the growl. We were watching that scene. I saw it in Brett's face.
It's real.
I'm telling you, that crap's real right there.
Yeah. I love it.
Wendell, if you're coming with him in June.
It's just you and Wendell. It's going to be great.
Yeah, 110.
Well, it depends
one
on
sleeping bag.
Oh, dear God. No. Dizzles. Shame on
you. Never know. You never know what you're going to get with the Dizzle.
I know. No, I don't have plans on. Well, I don't have any plans on that. Usually, I don't go boogering. Wow, what was that? Usually I don't go boogering after May and before the end of September. Usually, I mean, I might go camping, but I'm not going to go boogering. No, absolutely not. There's too many ticks and everything else out there, and a tick almost done me in several years ago. So, yeah, I have a really bad reaction to ticks and poison oak and stuff like that. I'm still dealing with poison oak from over a year ago.
Jeez.
Or from a year ago. Yeah. So I keep it hidden pretty well, but I'm still dealing with it.
We already have ticks here. Every time we come in from outside, we have to check.
Same here. I had to pick one off my son the other day. We were sitting there talking, and he was on the couch, and I saw a little dark spot on him. I'm like, that don't look like a mole. Moles don't move. Oh, let me get it.
Yep. I had to get one off Abe the other night. And he just walked out to the middle of the yard and back.
Oh, goodness. Well, you know what? At least he can get up and walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
One of our first outings with me, Bob, and Big D, we went out and we sat in the middle of a forest road, and we all had, looking over each other's back. And I came home that night. I don't think we stayed. I think we just stayed real late. I don't think we were allowed to stay in that area. And when I come home, I look like I had freckles. And I called Big D, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I described it because I had never seen it. And there was some kind of little teeny tiny lymph larva or something tick. It was just basically just out of the nest.
Yeah.
And I was covered in them. And I had to go to Kaiser, and they were giving me shots. And yeah, that was, whew.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That happened to my friend's dog. Yeah. They had to shave her dog.
Yeah. So I mean, I really do limit my activities in the woods after May and before the end of September. I like for a frost to happen before I actually really venture out.
Just to make sure everything's dead.
Just to make sure. I really do. But what was so odd though was when I got that one tick on me, it was the middle of February. And
oh wow.
That's one of the reasons why I wasn't too concerned going out. And it actually happened to be another one of the times that I heard these growls. Like we did at the LBL, but I didn't know what they were then. I thought it could have been a bear, and it was just my camera, Brent and I, and we weren't armed, and I was like, well, this could be a bear that's doing all this growling. So, we're not armed, so let's go ahead and leave. But I had actually heard those growls before, and now that I know what it is, I think we were on top of another Bigfoot there, because Bankhead National Forest full of them.
Wow,
full of them.
What do you think about? Because I was reading here recently a lot of local sites in Tennessee, and they've started seeing dogman more recently. What do you think the difference between a dogman and a Bigfoot? I mean, aside from the description that the people give,
I think one might be lab created.
The dogman, you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of what I think is that they're lab. The dog dudes are lab created and dropped off, and I think that's a high possibility. Now with the Bigfoots, I've finally come to the conclusion that I don't believe that they're from here, or at least a good many of them. I don't believe that they're here, because we've had a lot of orb activity around whenever we see Bigfoots. And I saw, I did see a portal up at the LBL, and I saw an orb come from where that portal was. And this is what I'm thinking, is that you have to be an energy form to traverse through the portals. And somehow that they're able to transform themselves into energy form. So I don't know how they do it, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right, but I'm extremely open to that.
Seems to be consistent.
I'm with you that I don't think they're from here, because a remote viewer that, well, three of us, man, I don't know if you know the person or not, but did one, and it was injured. It was one we had a contact with, and it was injured and had been taken to a place, and they described a totally different planet and everything when they RV'd it, remote viewed it.
Wow.
Oh, really? Yeah. So, I know for 100% fact that portals exist, because I saw one, and I know what I was looking at, and I could see in it, and wherever it was daylight, wherever it was. So I know that they exist, and I didn't see the orb come out of the portal, but I mean, you could put two and two together. I mean, that orb came right from where it was after it had shut down. So, just putting pieces of a puzzle together, I'm thinking that the Bigfoots can transform themselves somehow into an energy form.
Did you see that one lady in Georgia with her mouth wide open? We were talking about that. She was doing that for like 15 straight minutes.
Well, I don't know. I'm just glad there wasn't any flies in there.
I mean, when you were saying that exact story, remember they asked about portals, and you were saying all that about looking inside, and it was another place on the planet or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know where it was at. I mean, it could have been on the other side of the earth, for all I know. I don't know where it led to. I wasn't going to walk in it.
Throw a baseball in it and come back.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't have a baseball on me at the time, or I would have.
What was that? What was that movie? The Gods Must Be Crazy. They threw that Coke bottle, trying to give it back.
Well, maybe it's Middle Earth.
I've seen that movie.
Godzilla lives. So. I mean, but I do think there's a lot of mystery and stuff that we're never going to know. And
right. I have come to that realization that I'm not going to figure this puzzle out, but I can start putting pieces on the board for the next generations, and we need other good investigators, younger investigators out to help carry on this. And not only do they need to help carry on it, they need to get with some of us older investigators that's been around the block, and so they can learn from us and clear up some of their preconceptions. Because I tell you, when I started, I had a lot of preconceptions about Bigfoot and ghosts and all this other stuff. Because I thought at one time, I thought it was a bunch of hooey, but especially ghosts, I really did. I thought ghosts were hooey until I saw one. So I was like, wow, well, there it is.
Yeah, that realization that you're not chasing a big monkey in the woods. When it hits you, it's like, it alters the whole perspective.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and especially when you come when you come to find out that some have been extremely close to you that we never saw. When we filmed the Downy Booger, and we were actually filming that orb. There was an orb in the background, and that's what we were filming. And we accidentally caught the thing crawling between us and the orb. And, it has this oh shit moment. And it's like, oh shit, I'm on camera, and it doesn't know which way to go. It's sitting there crawling. And the camera is actually trying to focus in on it, right? And you can, if you look at the clip long enough, you can see this thing start to come into focus, and you can see a little bit more of it. And then all of a sudden in the background, this orb just goes nuts, just, getting real bright and dim and just going nuts. And then the camera focuses in on the orb because it's like this autofocus thing. So, and the orb was just constant all night until that one moment where the thing was crawling between us and the orb, and then it decides to go nuts. Just, bzz, 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 hey, look over here, look here, look here, look here. I think that's really what it was trying to do. I think it might have been another one that was distracting us and distracting us from it. So, that's always been in the back of my mind. Like, why was that orb just going berserk at that one moment, So anyway.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Once you're in an experience like that, it changes you. So yeah,
it does. And then you think back, well, damn, how many other times was I within arm's reach of one and just never saw it? Because this thing, the orb was probably 100 feet away from us, and this thing was clearly probably halfway. So it was probably 50 feet away from us. And, you would think you would have heard it, right? No, it was now it was real windy that night. However, still should have heard it.
I went to walk to my truck one day and heard breathing in the woods. And
Really?
I started walking toward it. Yeah. Started walking toward it, and it stopped.
It stopped breathing?
The breathing stopped. Yeah.
Scared it. Held its breath.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. But I heard breathing.
Was it Darth Vader?
It wasn't that type of breathing. I don't know what it was, though. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
I never saw anything. I've walked all the way over and never saw anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I say, I think they've got some abilities that we don't. You hear this cloaking theory, and I don't necessarily think they cloak per se. I think they might phase to where you can't see them. If terminology, semantics, they disappear. How about that? Because you would have to phase if you changed yourself into an energy form, right? So I think they're able to phase out enough to where we can't see them. Call it cloaking if you want to, but if they've got the ability to change themselves into energy, they've got the ability to phase themselves, because that would just be part of the process getting to that energy form.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. Trying to take me to the dark side.
The chances of Darth Vader are low, but never zero.
There's never zero.
What's the impressive part is apparently she intimidated it because it knows that she was a wrestler and was going to whoop its ass.
That's right.
Just held its breath so I wouldn't find it.
Mm-hmm. Pile drive it. Put the suplex on it.
I almost pictured that.
Right. Get AI to do that one, Glenn.
I'm afraid to.
What would What would be the name though for like you know we got I don't know the proper term. I'm going to offend some people, but I'm going to say it anyway. Midgets. What would be a midget Bigfoot? Has anybody ever seen a midget Bigfoot?
Littlefoot?
Isn't that what a yowie is or something like that? Aren't they smaller ones?
It's a new fetish unlocked for me.
Well, there's a rabbit hole.
Didn't know I liked that.
That is unlocked. It's like a new level.
My God.
New kink unlocked. Had no idea.
He's gonna be Googling that later.
Isn't the skunk ape like a smaller version? Because of the principle of animals living closer to the equator make them smaller, and so the skunk ape is below like Tallahassee. They never get above it.
Yeah,
like a smaller version.
Yeah, it's like the Mason-Dixon line for them.
Yeah, what's that equator principle called? Equator.
I have no idea. I think he made it up.
It's a real thing. I'm not.
Well, I'm pretty sure, and I'm trying to get a lady from down under, the yowie. I'm pretty sure it's a smaller version too, but I've not really done my homework on it. So,
should get JoJo.
It's called the Bergman's rule.
Bergman's rule.
Bergman's rule. It's related to the animal size. Closer animals get to the equator, the smaller they are.
That's weird.
Well, you know, on the island there in the Keys, they have deers that are the size of dogs.
Yep.
Everywhere.
That's why they I was talking. Who was we talked about that with the orang pendek. Yeah. The
Adam Davies.
No, not Adam Davies. Renee. She was on here with us on this channel. The short hair from Florida, Ocala. We talked about that on here.
Oh, yeah.
Marie. We talked about how the skunk apes were smaller.
Marie Mayor?
Yeah. Couldn't think of her dang name. Like,
you had her on your show?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I had her.
Dang. I'm not even going to say it.
I always just tell everybody that I know Bobby Dizzle, and it's like they either block me or I'm in. So
you didn't need the people that blocked you anyway.
Block you or you're in.
Those are the people who are offended or everything.
It's like flipping a coin. All right.
It hasn't steered you wrong yet.
No.
You know she's going to be at the festival in Townsend.
Mm-hmm. She was on like literally this show with us night 6 months ago talking about this exact same thing. I couldn't remember it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, because the skunk apes are all scrawny and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your Sam Squanch that are a lot bigger.
Sam Squanch?
Sam Squanch from Trailer Park Boys.
Oh.
It's a Sam Squanch.
Wasn't the show where you made up Ain't Deer, was it?
Ain't Deer. No, that was Carissa. That was Carissa.
Yeah. That was
I talked to Heather Moser from Small Town Monsters a couple days ago, and I showed her the Ain't Deer.
It's completely in Bobby's imagination, and he went down a rabbit hole with it.
And I made a whole video about it too. It's hilarious.
He did.
Very much.
Yes, he did.
He made a whole video about the Ain't Deer.
It was
too much time on his hands.
Yeah.
The one that worked at Amico had nails.
Oh my god!
It was like a dude ain't deer, but he had like fingernails. I had like a Coke pinky. AI just threw that in there, a little salt. AI seasoned it a little for me.
You never know what you're going to get with AI. So.
AI read your mind.
Or Bobby.
Shay picked it out, or Shy, whatever her name is. She goes, "Look how the Amico one has a nail."
What a mercy.
Well, I'm just surprised when I get for this show, I put in the AI I wanted a Bigfoot and a Dogman in the woods, And some of the things I got back, holy cow, like I got like a tall alien like thing with a boxer's head, and I'm like, what is this? I'm not putting that on there. So
Wow.
Greg doesn't like being called the M word.
The M word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a button for that, so
I didn't even say it.
I didn't. Yeah, I don't know the proper political correctness on that.
They're called Tyrian
little
Americans,
people.
Greg.
They're called
They're
what?
little people.
Tyrian Americans.
what?
Tyrion Lannister Americans is what they're called.
What?
You don't watch Game of Thrones?
No.
No.
God.
No.
Oh, I
You
thought,
bunch of
But
boomers.
we're not rich like you are, Disney. We don't have that subscriptions.
Neither do I. Just not a pirate.
oh, he is a computer techie. So
That's not a steal
They're
things.
little
properly.
people is the proper term.
No, the little people are actually the
Puckwudgies.
the cryptids from the Cherokee.
Mhm.
That's the little people.
That
So
goes
they can't
with it.
steal the name. They can't steal the name. Mm-mm. Nope.
If that could be a Supreme Court case, I would lose my absolute shit. Just Cherokee versus a platoon of little people. Hell
Nope,
no, we won't go.
They can't steal the name. I'm
They'd
sorry.
be like,
It's
hell
taken.
no, we won't go. Hell no. Protest.
oh, geez.
They threw javelins at you. You know,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you get hit with all these toothpicks.
It's like the brownies on Willow throwing those spears at everybody. Like, what in the?
Have you seen the Facebook videos of the little people, and one's like, I don't know, riding a motorcycle, and then it shows like a person sitting on the sidewalk, and here comes a little toy motorcycle, and it's supposed to be them riding it.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
tons of those.
My algorithm knows me too well.
Person of yeah, okay, pause. Person of small structure. Yeah.
Stature.
So,
Hey.
yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to
Don't
offend you.
talk about the man's structure.
Yeah. He's
Those
an
fighting
angry elf.
words.
He's an angry
Yeah.
elf.
An angry elf.
Remember the elf movie?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell?
Mm-hmm.
He's an angry little elf.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, speaking of that, have you ever heard of any stories in the Appalachia about little people, fairies, whatever you want to call them, and going into, you know, like trees and stuff? You know,
I have heard about the little people, and I've also okay. I was watching a podcast for. It's funny that you mentioned. Well, you said Heather Moser, but you know, I was watching Jill.
Roddenmeyer.
Yeah,
Roddenmeyer.
Remdism.
Eckenbicker?
Yeah. I was watching their podcast for the Flash of Beauty, and they had a guest on there that I thought was absolutely just phenomenal. And she claims like to have like psychic abilities, and says that she talked to some of these small dark figures, and that they also come out of portals.
Rimmon Snyder.
Yeah, Rimmon Snyder.
She's nice as hell, though. I've had her on.
She is. She's very nice. Yeah. And the other dude is sometimes.
You gotta keep the topic.
Yeah. You're messing with my ADD. So the guest was talking about these dark little figures that came out of the portal, and it solely reminded me of Adam Davis's story when he had seen a portal out there in Oregon, and these two little small, stocky little dudes came out of the portal, and they said that they like did battle with them like for 2 nights straight. You know, these two little dudes would try to charge them and stuff, and they'd hit them with flashlights, and everything would disappear, and A few minutes later, the portal would open back up, and out step these little dudes again. So the little people really reminded me of that story, and that's could be what the little people are. So, it was just a new theory that I threw out there that really reminded me of the story and the little people. So, but I haven't heard of them walking into trees. No.
Yeah, I mean, they like disappear into things, and it's not a portal that's like they do, but they go into trees and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they just are absorbed, their energy is absorbed in. I've heard that some of that stories in the Appalachian.
So they phase.
Sure. Yeah.
That's that Phalor I was playing that clip on about the bodies turning into leaves and stuff.
I mean, at the end of the day, they say we're just energy in a meat suit. So,
yeah. I mean, everything is energy and vibration. So,
yeah.
Well, that gateway process from CIA, that'll worry you to death. Don't go down that rabbit hole if you don't want to.
No, I've already been down that rabbit hole, and it's disturbing what the CIA says about that.
I mean, how is that we're real and we got to go to work in the morning? What am I doing with my life? Like it even says don't try to make it too fast, it'll ruin your life, which is the principle of manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there, which I was like, well, hell.
Yeah, and it talks about the other entities that you encounter when you're able to astral project, essentially, remote view or whatever it is that they're doing, and it eventually goes into like a godlike being. So they acknowledge the presence of a creator, a supreme being, or whatever. So the gateway files are fabulous.
Like it just says outright in black and white that a thought can become a particle. Like, what, you're just going to say it and walk off? Get your ass back over here and finish that sentence. What do you mean?
Yes.
Well, during one of our remote viewing classes, the instructor, he's ex 3-letter agency, he said, we're going to do a test. They had a guy that was a dowser, they do energy. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm going to have a evil thought, and I'm just going to kind of aim it out there, and I want you to see if you can find it. And man, he could follow it. And he's like, see, that's what people don't understand. It's intent. It's your energy is, I don't know what he thought, but yeah, the dowser could clearly walk to where the energy was coming out of it. It was the craziest thing. I was like, huh,
that's wild.
CIA, huh?
Wow. Go figure.
Yeah. It's where a taxpaying dollar goes. So until it's charged.
That and some offshore bank account over in Switzerland somewhere.
God, don't get me going. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, well, I mean, what do they know? That's the kind of thing I would like. What do they know? Like, I want to know. And when you're president, do they read you into this, or are you not high enough up to know?
I don't think they're high enough up to know. I don't think they've fully briefed Trump on the realities of everything.
No,
I really don't, because his hair is not completely gray yet. Although I did notice today that it was graying, but
it's getting there,
yeah. His hair is not completely gray yet, so they haven't informed him of everything.
What about the Hillary Clinton email about the Gilgamesh tomb? That they found in her classified on a classified server about they found that tomb of Gilgamesh over in Iraq back in 2002.
Really? That's the first I've heard that.
Yeah, and like it was in her thing. It was in her emails about it in the Euphrates.
Interesting.
Like I said, about the time it was discovered, the U.S. invaded and took over the whole area.
Oh well, never. There's always secondary and tertiary reason for war.
Mm-hmm.
It's never for what they claim it is.
Look that up. And she had it on there. There's like it's like redacted and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up definitely, because the Gilgamesh was part Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
So
part of the original cedars or whatever you call it.
Yeah, so that's going to be really interesting. I would love to look at that.
This is what I do rather than work, is look at shit like that.
Yeah, me too.
Speaking of taxpayer
I'd
dollars.
rather do this. I'd rather do podcasting all day.
I fully intend on it pretty soon.
It's sometimes stressful. I will say that.
Yeah.
I bet it is. That's why I don't do it. My hair is gray enough, and I don't need any more.
All right. Well, let me hit a button here real quick so I can timestamp.
And I'm gonna step on out.
Yeah.
Oh, you done?
Yeah. My better half is she's throwing arrows at me and
like a puck wedgie.
Leg, yeah, and chicken legs and all kinds of stuff. So
I was gonna come on for like an hour or two myself. So that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can take my spot, Dizzles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greg, have a great night. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for having me on.
We love it when you're here. We'll see you soon.
See you.
Find out which one he is over here. There he is.
I have a tornado watch. Alert just popped up on my phone.
Let me hit this button real quick so I timestamp it. Everybody, Pine Island FN and WZQR. Thank you for tuning in.
WZQR Pine Island.
There we go. Thank you. We appreciate your support. Of course, Ross at Yerg's Radio and everybody else. And where is my button? I've lost my button. There it is.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm Miranda Maverick, and when I'm in fight camp, I never listen to the Sport Cat podcast.
And everybody, welcome back to hour 2 of the Paranormal Guyz. And I forgot to thank WRFN, Radio Free Nashville, because we can't forget them. We love having them in our network. And of course, we are on the Bigfoot Radio Network. We are also on Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, and now on Radio X in Australia. So we're all over the place. Plus, I spin some records sometimes on the side and play music. So Wendell says that you have been hacking government files again.
I don't know I'd have time to do that. I have full access. I don't have to hack.
I don't want to know. Well, can you answer some questions for me?
No.
Oh.
Other than the fact that we can't have a Coke machine because it has a Wi-Fi connection, and I'm upset.
Really?
Yep, can't have a Wi-Fi connection.
Well, you are, I did see on our show during the day, I did see a weird thing pop up over in the area where you are, and it was for TFR, temporary flight restriction for space operations. I'm like, what the hell is going on there?
Could have been.
Oh, yeah. And then there was one that just today in Salt Lake City. What the hell? So,
you ever heard of
these little seeds of things, but they never tell you the truth.
You ever heard of what's it called? Fabric that they put in the atmosphere. What is that called?
Are you talking about like where they call that? They say that the veil is thin and they go in and out of it. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, this is actually something that happened. It is called. I want to say it's called slag, but it's not what it's called. It's like fibrous. You know how when you have like a I can't even think. Like, there's like a little plant that's fibrous, and you can pull it, and it floats away. Mm-hmm. It's like that, but it's like a giant thing they put in the atmosphere on purpose. And I'm gonna find it.
Okay. Well, please do. Just so everybody knows, Robin is trying to log in, and as usual, since we were going to talk about UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff, she is having some problems. So
found it. It's called chaff. Here, check this out. This happened about 12 years ago. This will be interesting.
All right, you sharing your screen?
Yep. Hang on. I feel like I'm back at work. It's okay. Here.
All right, hold on. Let me shrink that.
All right.
Radar
See
blob.
this? Scientists say radar. Yep. And when this happened, the news reported it as bugs coming off the river.
I remember that story.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
you see this right here? You see this wave?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Tennessee River. That's the bottom of Redstone. That's how you can see it from space or from an airplane. It's just that cutout. You can tell that's where Redstone is. So that's right over NASA.
Interesting.
And when it first happened, everybody said, "Oh, I remember Brad Travis. Like, we got a swarm of bugs over the Tennessee River." And where did I work at the time? I still worked at AMC. And the next day, everybody's like, "Yeah, that was chaff they were experimenting with on Redstone." It's like lighter than air fabric. It's floating in the air.
Well, the drones that everybody was talking about, back 2-3 months ago, and then that story just disappeared. And well, then it kind of pops up, but it's kind of hidden away. Well, that was drones that the Navy was working on with the Secret Service. It's like, what? And
everybody, the government knew what that was.
Dead silent. Yeah, dead silent. Nothing to see here. And so it's like it just went, mainstream media just dropped it. It's like,
you can tell when something's not a big deal when the government doesn't care it's happening.
Yes.
That's how I'm like, the government's not like freaking out on us. Well, they know what's happening. Surely the government's got this under control, right, guys?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that the government has anything under control, to be honest with you. Some of the stories guys? I see every day. So
crickets. Right, guys?
Right, guys?
Exactly.
The government's for our interest.
Yeah, they're supposed to be keeping us safe from whatever's out there, but maybe they're friends with whatever's out there.
I can't help but think that we haven't found out about aliens because we've got to kind of deal with them.
They were supposed to come out and say that there were aliens. What happened?
I don't know.
It's like a lot of things. It just dropped.
Yeah.
We got the JFK files, and that was a big nothing. And it was, and then it's like, okay, next, move on, and keep saying we've got the Epstein list and nothing, and we got the P. Diddy list and nothing, and you don't even hear about him on the news anymore. So it's like when they want something to disappear, it's gone. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can't find the Aaron Andrews keyhole tape either. So good luck
with that one.
You don't remember that?
It's the floating fabric in the sky, but my plastic grocery bag is ruining the environment. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, they said there's aliens. We're going to come out and tell everyone about it, and then nothing. That's right. They admitted it, and that's all there is to go on.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. Nothing.
But they exist.
Exactly. Yeah. We're friends with them. What? Yeah.
From the future.
Well, they introduced the F-47 here recently. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if it was Trump or somebody slipped up and said, "Oh, we've been flying it for like 10 years."
Yeah.
I think everybody, all the technology like that they've had for 10 years before they bring it out.
Oh yeah, Abe. Government agents just disappear back home. They sure do.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of which, hey Russ, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Speaking of which,
hey Russell,
we have Robin here. I'm not sure
Robin.
I'm not sure why her name is so long down there, but welcome, Robin.
I didn't know Robin was coming on.
Well,
Bob, if you would do some homework on the show, I send you all the information.
I ain't reading shit. I don't even know how to read.
I've only been trying for like, I don't know, 15 minutes to get on here. I don't even know how I finally got on here.
Well,
you know why? Because Talk Studio is horrible.
Oh, push.
It's the craziest thing. I've signed in like 5 times. It sent me all over the place. Hey, glad I finally made it before the show was over.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Right.
We're glad you made it
Welcome.
too. So well, last time you were on, we had technical issues too. So.
Oh yeah, this happens a lot with me.
Robin's one of those that'll mess your stuff up too.
Yes, I was going to explain your story to us, and if you don't phase out or get zapped or something. So,
I think everybody already knows it mostly. This started out when I was just a very, very, very small child, toddler size. You know, the Sasquatch and everything found me. I never went looking for them. I've always had the Sasquatch Dogman around me. My first ET abduction, I remember I was 4, and I was told while I was on the ship it started prior to that. Still continues today. The last time I remember being taken was about a year and a half ago. So I've habituated with the Sasquatch. I work for them. They send me places they want me to go to do various things. I do that. I work with the Dogman. If it's a cryptid, I work with it. Elementals, dimensionals, portal work, rift work, vortex, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place.
Wow. So
yeah,
this was a question I just asked Greg. What is the difference, because you're seeing more Dogman sightings reported in the South, the Southeast? What is the difference between them and a regular Bigfoot? Aside from looks.
Well, they're all different. They're all different kinds of cryptids. Genetically, they're different. I worked on the DNA study for the Sasquatch. We're now currently doing a cryptid genome project, of which we have a lot of samples for the Dogman and getting tested. And unfortunately, you guys got to wait for the rest of the world for those to get released. But they are all genetically different. I will say this, what I know, because I just simply ask them. I'm that kind of cut to the chase type of gal. And so I asked them years ago, there are genetic links. I will say that, especially, connecting them all, but there is a different variant, which is why you get different things. I think people need to realize too, when it comes to Dogmen, depending which kind of canine was used for that hybridization is what you're going to see. Okay. And we can never forget the fact that the government also has their dirty little hands in creating Dogmen as well for military. So a lot of the really nasty Dogmen that we see, not all, but the variants that come from the government are not good. The werewolves that they did create through the government, most of those are all kind of, now I'm not going to say they're retired. I've spoke with some of them, and like the one that I have near my house is very kind. He said he was in a government program years ago. So, we've got that to contend with, because what we already had was not apparently enough. So, we have a lot of things that they create plus what we have. The other thing too is, in every cryptid, in every ET, elemental, dimensional, anything that comes in and out of these portals or is on this planet or other planets, there is good and bad in everything. There is nothing that is all good, nothing that is all bad. And if you ever find something, that says that they are, those are your biggest threat. Because they get you to believe that they're a certain way, and then it's like the sneak attack. And if you don't know how to read the energies, which I do, it keeps me alive, then you're not going to know what you're dealing with, what its purpose is, intent is, or if it's good or bad. But the cosmic balance is there has to be good and bad in absolutely everything. You know, like when we talk about ETs, everybody thinks if they're gray or reptilian, they're automatically bad. That is so not true. So not true. Are there some? Yes. You know, I am not that person that is all about, you know, the bad dogman. Have I dealt with bad dogmen and talked to bad dogmen? 100%. I also get along very well with the dogmen that live around me. I've also had help when there was years ago somebody that wanted to use me in order to gain access to Sasquatch so that they could, you know, bag a Bigfoot, so to speak, decided that they were going to try to kidnap me to be able to do it. What stopped the whole situation was the dogman and the Bigfoot. So, you know, I'm not that girl that's going to tell you that all the dogmen are bad, because I just truly don't believe that. I get along fine with the ones around me.
Have you ever asked them, do they believe in a higher power or God or supreme being or whatever?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're very spiritual. They believe in what they call Tahoe, which is God, or our God. They call creator, depending on the clan, the tribe, location, which is cultural, is what they're going to call it. But they're all very, very spiritual. The ones that are not spiritual, oddly enough, are the ones that are aggressive and dangerous. And you hear multiple stories of people pleading the blood of Jesus Christ, and it's actually saved them. You know, when I've talked to different ones and I've asked them, you know, the Sasquatch, when we did the DNA study for the people that did see it, it came out a human hybrid, which angered everybody because nobody was going to believe that. The reality of it was, I had asked them what they were years ago. Long before I ever knew Melba Ketchum existed or the study existed, I found out that Dr. Ketchum existed because the Sasquatch told me to find the woman with the light colored hair. She knew the truth. And I had already asked them at that point. And they had told me then, and this is separate from the study because the study did not have access to the information that they gave me. The study stated they are a human hybrid. Mother side, mitochondrial side, part human, you know, the nuclear side, which is the dad, is unknown. That is 100% true because they didn't have access to test the DNA on the dad's side. Okay, then there's me. Before I knew any of it existed, I said, what are you? Everybody's fighting over you. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. I already know you're part human. I talk with you, you know, not only through mind speak, but verbally. You know, we did all these great things and I knew they were human. But I said, what are you? And they pointed to me. They said, we're human like you, and pointed to star people. Said star people, pointed to the sky. So then you start asking the Sasquatch when you're actually, whether it's mind speak or verbally and standing in front of them. Some will say that we're star people. Others will say we're children of God. Both are 100% correct. If you read the Bible, it says God created the heavens and the earth. It means we don't get to choose what he created because he created the heavens and the earth. In the heavens are star people, like it or not, they are there. And so actually both cultures of Sasquatch were correct.
Wow. That's deep. That's a lot to take. I mean, how did this not affect you in a bad way? Because I think a lot of people would have just kind of went nuts.
Well, I'm the resident weirdo because I don't know any different. I was so tiny, like, and I mean tiny. Like my mom talks about when I was, you know, starting to talk, I was always telling her about my friends and I described a Bigfoot and a Dogman. So I don't know any different. I mind spoke, I think, before I probably could verbally talk. So for me, this is my normal. My normal is abnormal. So it doesn't freak me out. It doesn't mean that I don't get scared at times. You know, like I used to, you don't have to be out in the woods at night to see a Sasquatch to begin with. They're not nocturnal, so people can forget about it. They're not. They are out at night because just like every other predator that's hunting, deer are more mobile at night. Food is more accessible at night. And you know what? We're not around out at night. So they're safer because we tend to kill what we don't understand. So they're safer. They are not nocturnal. And so, but they would come up at my bedroom window at 2:00 in the morning and knock on my window. They wanted me outside. So I would go out in the woods with this clan that I was interacting with at my home. I would go out there. I'd sit out there with them. They'd walk around. We'd talk. I'd watch them. You know, we would play little games like roll the rock to me. I'll roll it back. You know, I had a friend that sent me a hula hoop that lit up, and I tossed that out in the woods, and you see this lit up hula hoop running through the woods all night long. It was a riot. You know, we did all kinds of fun little things. And so, you know, I would talk to them. Now, there were times that they would come up behind me and put a hand on my shoulder. If I knew they were back there, it didn't freak me out. If I didn't know they were there and all of a sudden there's this hand on my shoulder, I would get really tense. Like, I never like totally lost my mind over it, but it would make me I'd have a lot of anxiety over it. There's only been a few times that they've actually scared me, and it was generally not a good one that was around. You know, I don't like not knowing they're there, but that's with anything. It doesn't matter if it's a cryptid or a person. If I don't know they're there and I get surprised, you know, I get anxious like everybody else. A lot of people think I'm like, oh, you're so fearless. Oh, absolutely not. Let me tell you, absolutely not. I get scared like everybody else, but because my normal is so abnormal, it takes a lot more to freak me out than perhaps some people. It's easier for me to know a lot about these things and not have an issue believing it. I've watched it. Like, I've watched them use the paranormal abilities. I've watched them levitate. I've had them stand next to me and cloak. You know, when I lived in Michigan, I would go walking out in the snow, and I would literally watch 3 and 4 feet from me, footprints being made and nothing standing there. You know, it didn't freak me out, you know? And then there's the obvious question. You say to them, okay, how do you do it? Because I'm curious. I want to know. They have no problem telling you they bend the light. Okay. So then you say, okay, how do you bend the light? How do you achieve this? These are higher vibrational beings. Okay. Our whole planet right now is going through a vibrational shift to raise everybody's frequency. And that's what's happening. They are already at a high frequency. All the cryptids are. So are the elementals and dimensionals and all these things with the paranormal abilities. In order to access those abilities, you have to have a higher frequency. When I started my business, I teach people how to access their abilities, how to communicate with the cryptids, and you do it all through the collective consciousness and the higher frequency. So if you are watching a bird feeder and a hummingbird goes to that bird feeder, you're going to see the head, you're going to see the body. Few people see wings. They don't see the wings because they are vibrating those wings so quickly, it bends the light around them. Same thing with Sasquatch. Same thing with Dogman and all the other cryptids that all fall into line because they share very similar abilities. So then you get what's called the shimmer. The shimmer looks like Predator. On the movie Predator, it like that gelled water. All they're doing is they're not vibrating as quickly. So they're not 100% cloaked. But once you learn how to read energy signatures, you can find them cloaked or not.
Wow. Can anybody do this?
What?
Can anybody do this? Learn how to communicate?
Yeah. That's why I was working with so many people, and it was like constantly. That's all I was doing was teaching people and helping people. And I got divorced, so obviously I needed to be able to work. And I was working, and the problem was I was working all the time. And all the people that I was helping, I didn't have time to help them anymore. So I quit my job. And one of the IT gals that I worked with said, you know what, you're going to do this as a business. And I'm like, no, I can't get paid for it. I've never gotten paid. But, you know, she pushed it, designed a website for me. And so now I work with anybody in any paranormal spectrum that they need help with. Most people, there's two kinds of people. Some that have actual abilities. We all have them. Some people have more pronounced abilities that are just God-given, and they're right there. Everybody can achieve abilities if they raise their frequency. You started out with just your basic grounding, and then you have to tap into learning how to pull that frequency out of yourself and working with that. And then you start with communication with things and the mind speak and all of it. It can be achieved. And my clients have had great success with it, you know, but this is what I've been doing for years anyway. It's not like, you know, it was something I just came up with. I have not learned any of this out of books. I don't, you know, there was one person that I knew, a woman that taught me a few things, and I'm very blessed to have known her. But all the things as far as using all of these tools, I learned from the Sasquatch. I learned it from the Sasquatch, the Dogman, Earthkeeper, what they call the master, which is, in Antarctica that Admiral Byrd talked to. There's actually 4 masters. They rotate on Earth every 22.5 years.
Wow. So that's where everything's hidden.
I know. And it,
Antarctica.
Hey, there's a lot going on there.
I'm going to jump off here. It's good to see you again, Rob. I didn't know you were coming on here tonight.
Yeah, it's great to see you too.
All right. See y'all later.
He's got some tornadoes up by him. So yeah.
I'm tired. I'm just sleepy. I don't think they're going to come over here. I'm about to pass out. I had such a good time. Man, Robin's over here. I got to Robin a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while. It's good to see you.
All right. Take it easy.
Take care.
See ya.
See you, Bobby. Well, we have some questions here in the. Hold on, I gotta move this around. That's thing right.
I think
in the chat, and somebody was asking. Wendell was asking if they have watchers. Of course, I think you answered that with them saying not nocturnal. And
but they do have watchers. They do. They have in their certain areas. They will have. You can call them guards. You can call them watchers or whatever that are posted almost like a sentry. And they do. They watch to let them know what's coming into their territories. Number one, they're all through the collective consciousness, so they're all telepathic. The other thing is, you hear them do the calls, whether it's a bird call or whatever. Those aren't just for fun. They're communicating with each other so they can be strategically placed so they can watch all of it. They also will use animals. People don't realize that. They use a lot of animals that are in the woods: crows, ravens, hawks. I've seen them use raccoons. I've seen them use possums. There's not anything that they won't use for that. You kind of get used to people just saying, "Oh, look at, she's crazy." And then you get to the where I'm at, and I'm like, I don't care if they think I'm crazy because, well, they think I'm crazy. I'm out in the woods with the Sasquatch. So I'm good with it. I'll wear that badge proudly. I can't do anything to change it. It wasn't something I chose. It happened to me, and I feel blessed. I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think it took a little bit longer to warm up to the ETs.
Right.
There's a lot of good ones out there.
Greg,
do you find it helps to just pretend that it doesn't bother you when you're around something that?
You know what? It doesn't, because I don't feel like I'm me. Then it makes me feel like I'm not comfortable in my own skin. When it makes me give anxiety, I own it. I have no problem saying, what, this one really creeps me out. I got stuck out in the woods with a friend of mine one time, and her and I were out, and we literally thought we were in there for 30 minutes and hours had went by. We had missing time. It's pitch dark. Hey, Roger. And so we had missing time, and now it's pitch dark and we can't find our way out. And we had, several of them shadow us out. We had 3 on one side. We had a bunch on the other side, and they were killing a raccoon or something to eat it. That thing's screaming. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was very uncomfortable, anxiety through the wall. I wasn't terrified, scared, because the energy that was coming off of them was not aggressive. It was kind. So that kept me sane. But I'm like everybody else. There's situations you get in, and quite honestly, there are situations you get in, you should bloody well be afraid. Really. There was somebody that said, why every 22.5 years? I wish I knew the answer to that question. I don't. When I tried to zero in and mind speak with it, I had heard about the whole Admiral Byrd thing, and I thought just for kicks and grins, I'd see if I could connect with it. Never thought I'd get a response. Talk to me a little bit about the people, that were there, the aliens that were there. And I said, so you were there when Admiral Byrd was there? And he said, no, we rotate. I said, what does that mean? And he said, we rotate every 22.5 Earth years. There's 4 of us all together, and we rotate. I never got an explanation as to why. So that I could only guess. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly why.
Wow. Chris asked, are they able to communicate with our domesticated animals?
Oh, yeah. And I actually do that a lot for people. If it will talk to me, I can talk back to it. Doesn't mean everything will talk. I had a very dear friend of mine that has now passed away, but I loved him very much. And him and his wife were babysitting a turtle for a relative, and the turtle got sick. And he called me, he's like, can you talk to a turtle? And I said, I always talk to mine, So I did, and found out what was wrong with it. told him what to do. He took it to the vet the next day, and the vet had the same diagnosis I had. So it's good to get those little verifications. Like, I don't claim to be an expert. I'm not perfect. I will be the first to tell you that. But it always feels good when you get it verified.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you can. So, do you have to be nearby it, or can it be?
No. When you are using mind speak, time and space does not exist. There is no space. Okay. The worst case scenario is, like, when I did the conference in Russia, I spoke with the Sasquatch that were there, and every now and then they will still contact me, and they start out talking in Russian. I'm like, no, remember, dumb girl here couldn't do it. So then they switch back over to English. And once in a great while, it sounds, like they're a little far away, but normally no. It's just like they're like right in front of your face. And mind speak, you need to realize that our people have always been able to speak telepathically. Our government told us we couldn't. The problem with mind speak is people don't recognize they're getting it. They assume that you're going to hear this booming voice in your head. And there are literally so many ways to get it. It could be a sense of knowing. It could be an image, a picture, something that plays in your head like a video. Walking into a situation and going, oh, this is what already happened here. It can be randomly, like maybe you're in the kitchen and all of a sudden an apple pops into your head and you're like, why am I thinking about an apple? I don't even want an apple, because something is putting it there. So a lot of when I work with people on Mind Speak, first thing we do is go through the entire process of getting your vibration or your frequency up and your energy up, getting hooked into your consciousness, and then knowing what you're getting. It's recognizing it. It's not overly hard. We can all do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's a matter of recognition and knowing what you're getting. And it's very subtle. It's not always loud. Now, I've had, Sasquatch that wanted to talk to me and get my attention, and I was busy. And then all of a sudden it's like a booming voice in my head. They're screaming at me. And I'm like, I got it. Give me a minute. And then I've also had it where it's so subtle, I've missed it. And then they've yelled at me later and said, I tried to soka you, which means, mind speak. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay. I was doing other things. I missed it. But I also talk verbally up close with them as well. So
is there any correlation with them in with, I guess, what we would call the spirit world, like ghosts and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, I speak to ghosts. I've always spoke to ghosts. In fact, I just did some work for somebody the other day and was speaking to the ghosts that were in their home. They all live in a paranormal. I mean, they all can go into that plane where they're in a paranormal spectrum. Ghosts are high frequency. That's how they can transmute and, come into our plane, is because of that high frequency. Any of your cryptids can also go into what they call spirit form. So they can be flesh and blood 1 minute and go into spirit form the next. Okay. So you really haven't lived until you see one walk through your wall into your home. It's a little bit shocking the first few times, but yeah, they can do that. They don't live on the ghostly plane, clearly, but spirits come and go as well. And they can, because they're all higher frequencies, they all can connect. They're very, very attentive and protective. That's why you see a lot of them around the graves, especially Native American, and they are protective of them. Because they all work under the collective consciousness.
Okay. Like Amanda, where she lives, she thinks that she's got some nearby her.
Oh yeah, you've got them all around you, girlfriend. You've got all kinds of stuff by you. No, but you do. You've got spirits by you. You've got Sasquatch around you. You've got Dogman around you, and you do get occasionally ETs. The thing with the ETs is all of these things travel in the high frequency. So once you get one, you end up eventually getting everybody, even if you're not aware of it. And you have all that. And you've got a lot of little people by you. You've seen them. They're all over the place. Yeah. Yeah, they like you. You have a very high frequency, and that's what they're drawn to.
Yeah.
Speechless?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, she has what they call a pure heart, and they absolutely love that. And she's got the higher frequency already, which means she's already gone into 4D and 5D. And so once you get that and understand that these cryptids and these other beings are at a much higher dimension than that, you know, our world is to go into 5D. You're already there, just so you know. But and they're drawn to that. It feels good to them. They're always asking me to come outside, and all they want to do is pull energy off me. I mean, I know it, you know. I'm like, okay, just leave a little for me to get home on. You know, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I stay so tired all the time.
Well, you do, because what happens is not only do they pull it from you, but dream state is actually a real place. It's just a different plane. Our bodies are a holding device. They're third dimensional. That's why they need food, water, and sleep. So all they are is a vessel for your consciousness. It's not your brain, your consciousness. So when you go to bed at night, it's taking care of what the third dimensional body needs. Your soul doesn't sleep. So while you're thinking you're asleep, your body, that third dimensional body is. But your soul, which is higher dimensional, is out running around, doing whatever it's going to do. Whether it's fighting for the greater good, meeting with another soul, whatever, it's up and moving. And so that makes you more tired in the morning. On top of it, right now, our bodies are going from carbon-based to crystalline as we ascend, and that's exhausting. People are going to notice a lot of changes. You know, foods they're going to like and dislike that they never did before. Amanda, try extra water and protein, and it will help off balance it a little bit. And then also, like, be kind to your body. If your body tells you it wants certain foods that you normally wouldn't like I have vegans that tell me all they want is a steak right now. Listen to your body. It knows what it needs to ascend. So, you know, listen to it. But when you do a lot of the paranormal work or get a lot of contact with the cryptids of any kind, or even, you know, the elementals and stuff, really bump up your water, bump up your protein, because it is extremely helpful. Especially if you get zapped, that's the first thing you want. I've never gotten zapped before. My day is coming, I'm sure, because I haven't gotten it yet. I knock on wood every single time I say it. That's why, and especially right now through this transition and this ascension period, and, you know, transferring from the carbon-based to crystalline-based, it's even more so.
Yeah,
it's perfectly normal. Emotions are going to go up and down all over the map. We're going to act different. We're going to feel different. Things aren't going to make sense like they used to. It's just part of the normal.
Makes sense.
Wow. I'm scared to ask if you see anything around me. So
yeah, you've got but what I see around you is not a ghost. It's nothing bad. You've got a Sasquatch that watches you.
Okay.
Probably because you talk about it on your show and stuff, or it could be, you know, you found it out in the woods. But yeah, you get you do get cryptids that come in and check on you. Nothing bad. I'm not picking up anything bad on either one of you guys or around you.
That's good.
That's good. After the one tried to get in our bedroom.
I wondered, yeah. You know, I came out of the bathtub one night and I went to go walk in my bedroom, and there was a Sasquatch standing in front of the TV in spirit form. And I'm like, really? First, when my kids were little and they were at home, I couldn't get a bath by myself to save my life. Now I still can't do it, and the kids aren't here.
Yeah, something tried to get in our bedroom one morning when I was getting ready.
Yeah, and if you once you learn how to access your frequency and that energy, because yours is pure, you're going to push it towards it and it'll make it move away. What happens is anything low frequency, low energy cannot be around anything with the higher frequency. It literally kills it off. So once you learn how to access it, it can be used as a protection as well, to where the point where you bubble yourself, because low frequency does not survive in high. But what it does try to do every now and then is bring you down to its level so it's more comfortable. Like we've all had at one point in time in our life that person that we didn't know from Adam that's just mean. They're mean to us. They treat us badly for no reason. And we're like, why? I've done nothing. And that's exactly why. You're a higher frequency. That's a lower frequency person. So they don't have to think about it with their mind. There's a disconnect from the time your body reads the energy till it gets into your brain. There's a huge disconnect. So what happens is their body automatically wants to repel you away and be mean to you without even thinking about it. because you make them uncomfortable, because that higher frequency can not only hurt them, but it makes them very uncomfortable.
Huh. Nice.
That's interesting. Yeah. And once you learn to control it, you can almost, I hate to use the word, be like a Jedi, so to speak. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I've tried
you know
that.
what? My clients and all my clients end up becoming like friends. Like they really are. I just love them. And they are just absolutely floored once they learn about it. That's all it is. It's not like it's rocket science or anything. It's just, we've never been told any of this stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that know about it. I'm clearly not the only one. You know, I'm one of thousands. But the truth is the people that don't know about it, you don't understand why a lot of things happen in the way they do. It's like we find a lot of times we feel unbalanced in our life. If you are a higher frequency person, there is that unbalance. You have to have 1 foot in the third dimensional world, because that's where our body's at, and 1 foot in what I call the paranormal spectrum, which is a higher frequency. So you have to learn how to balance it out. You don't get that balance until you learn how to tap into the frequency. You know, but then you've got to have that 1 foot where, you know, you have job, taking out the trash, doing laundry, that third dimensional stuff that we all hate to do, but we're living on a third dimensional plane, you know, so it's just all about balancing it out.
I need these spirits to come along and do the laundry and mop the floors.
Don't you wish? Oh my gosh. If they would clean my room, I would be so happy. Find the top of my desk. That's all I would ever ask, is find my desk.
Oh, just some help around the house. It would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it's
dishes.
also, yeah, no kidding. It's like with your animals, okay? If you notice, your animals are fine, but when the power goes out, a lot of times our animals act wonky.
Mm-hmm.
The whole reason they get wonky is animals are high frequency anyway. They live in the confines of your house, of which you have live electrical wires that run through the walls. They are used to functioning around that higher frequency. When the power goes out and that frequency stops, it triggers them because they don't understand the change. And that's why they act like they do, because they don't understand it. They may not freak out, but they'll get nervous, be quieter. You know, some will bark, others will curl up in a ball. Some of mine have panic attacks. You know, it's just because they're used to functioning in that higher frequency, and then they're not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got one that went and hid in the tub. So,
yep.
Yeah.
I mean, she was smarter than us. There was an actual tornado warning, and she was hidden in the tub. So.
Yeah, everything, no matter how you do it, it all comes down to frequency, energy, and collective consciousness. And the reason why the cryptids do so much better than us is because they work on a collective consciousness. Even the ones that don't like each other, they're still linked through that collective. We don't. Our people are getting better at it, but a lot of our people are more into themselves, not looking at the greater good, not looking at helping each other. And that's why the cryptids have succeeded all this time, and we're killing each other off. So,
yeah,
you know, it's just the way it is.
Well, that brings me to another question. When you talk about that, what does our government know, or the governments around the world know?
I'm sorry, what do the governments what?
What do they know? Do they?
They know all this. They've always known all this. None of this is anything that they don't know. They don't like that we're learning it, but this is all stuff that they've known for years. They've known about these cryptids. They've helped create some of them. The ETs have helped create some of them. Some of them were born here. Clearly, we were here before the cryptids. The Sasquatch have human DNA. They couldn't have gotten it if we weren't here first. You know, some were born of this earth, others were created. It's, you know, without a doubt, the ETs create a lot. That's why we see a lot of the animals get missing. You know, you've seen in some of the movies where they've talked about watching crafts that lift elk right up off the ground, or, you know, be out in the mountains somewhere, and all of a sudden there's a killer whale lay on there. It didn't swim on dry land. You know, the ETs do a lot of creating for a lot of different reasons, but they do. But so does our government. And then we have some that are naturally born here. There's some that we don't even have names for. The Sasquatch call them a Micaiah, and that's a blanket term that means thee that walks the earth that has no name. And that's just what they loop the cryptids that are not acknowledged or have a name. They just put it under that blanket name. But what the government creates is far worse than anything anybody else does.
Well, they're always trying to weaponize something.
Oh, that's exactly it. You know, the dogmen and the werewolves are, you know, a perfect example of that. But those are by far some of the easier things that they've created.
That's well, you know, I've often wondered about that. What about, like, I mean, is it of lore like the vampires and stuff like that, or is that just legend?
You know, I've been asked that so many times. There is what they would consider a vampire, but keep in mind that the movies have amplified it.
Sure.
You know, so they're not quite in the same thing. Have I ever dealt with vampires? I have not. Energy vampires, yeah. And they basically will want to they look human. They're not, they can't wait to get anywhere near you. And they literally suck your energy to the point where you can't move. You know, in all honesty, the cryptids will try to do that as well. Generally, if you take your energy within your body, push it back at them, they will back off. The other thing with that is people don't realize that when you're interacting with any of these cryptids, because they are so high frequency, it has effect on our 3D bodies. Okay? We still have this 3D body, and that high of a frequency causes problems. That's why you see a lot of researchers with illnesses, tumors, health issues. That's why. If you were to take one of those, I don't think Geiger counters, or what are they called, those little meters for radiation, and you get them next to a Sasquatch, they will go off for radiation. Even on the ones that are deceased, they will pop for radiation. What I do with the clans that I work with, because it feels like this weighted blanket, like, you know, they'll get like 2 feet from me and you literally feel like you've got concrete bricks over your whole body. And it's the frequency is so much more intense than ours. So what I do, and most of them, not all, most of them are happy to comply with it, is I just say, you know, you're welcome to interact with me in peace. My body is not like yours. I cannot take this high frequency, and it's making me, you know, it's too much on me. It doesn't make me sick. I don't get sick. Yeah, a little dizzy once in a while, but it does. It's so heavy. It's like you go to walk and you can't move. And for most part, they will pull it back. Some of them won't. I think they get a kick out of being more powerful than us, but for the most part, they do bring it back. And so when I'm out with them, that's one of the things I ask first. And if I get them to do it, then I'm happy. If I don't get them, at least I know I tried. They don't do it to hurt anybody. When they zap, they're taking all that frequency and energy in their body, and they're basically throwing it at you like you would have a snowball fight with somebody. They can pinpoint where they want it, how strong they want it, and what it's going to do to you. I've had people standing next to me get zapped and got put on the ground, and I'm standing there like, okay. And it's not anything to do with me. They just chose not to zap me and to zap the person next to me.
Like a game almost.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, why do you say we've experienced this when we're out in the woods? Why would we have these crazy experiences? Is it because of the energy? We pretty much just come back to camp and go, okay, we're going to sleep now.
That's probably them getting in your head, because they can do what they call trancing. One, with trancing, it's like your brain is fully functioning, but your body goes on autopilot. You can think in your mind, like I had a male come up to me and actually take his hand and place it on my lower arm and look me in the eyes. And I knew I was tranced, because I'm just like standing there and I'm going, wow, I should be probably freaking out about now, but yet I'm just standing here. Yeah. You know, and I've had the same thing happen with ET abductions. And so that's part of it. The other is, it's very possible whatever was out in the woods with you projected that thought into your mind to get you to peacefully leave. They can project any thought, smell, sound, emotion, anything. And it's all projection. And that way it keeps them safe, and they don't have to have that much contact. And they can do that from any distance. They don't have to be near you to do it. They've got quite the leg up on us.
Why do, and Wendell asked this in the chat, but I was going to word it a little bit differently. Why do some people have more experiences and other people have nothing? Is it?
It's all frequency. It's all frequency. If your frequency is high enough, if they feel you have a pure heart, if they think that your consciousness is ready for that contact, then you get it. We may think that we're ready. I can remember years ago, and they would tell me that, you know, we're going to have you do this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, I'm ready now. I'm ready now. I'll do it. Tell me how you want me to do it. I'll do it. And they're like, we'll let you know when you're ready. And I'm like, no, but I really am. I'm fine with you guys. You know, just tell me what it is you want me to do. And they're like, they would laugh at me, literally laugh at me. And they're like, we'll let you know. And I'm like, fine, be that way. But yeah, they don't do anything until they think you're ready. It's not what you think or when you think you're ready. They will let you know.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I've had experiences in the woods, and then we'll bring one person in, and there's just nothing, and they never have anything. They have never had any type of interaction with anything. I mean, they may have and not realize it, but it's like it just killed everything around us. And we can go out in our group, and it's like we're magnets for them.
Yeah. Now, like for you, the one that follows you around is tall, probably 8.5 to 9 feet, medium build, sandy colored hair, very shaggy. He does not have the conial head, but he does have a higher forehead.
Okay. Yeah, the very first experience I had, there was something called the Mount Vernon Monster in Virginia. And we went out in the woods looking for it. We were teenagers, you know, stupid. And we found it. And it was the very first experience I ever had.
Oh, God. That sounds bad. That sounds really bad.
Yeah, we found it. So, but yeah, we thought it was a human at first because it was down by a pond. And when it stood up, we know, well, yeah, that's not a human.
Oh, God. Yeah, that one doesn't sound good. But again, when you go,
had some missing time with that too.
Yeah. When you go into the woods, okay, if you get that warm, fuzzy feeling and you're relaxed, that's your day to be in there. But as soon as that changes, or if you step into those woods and you feel uncomfortable, turn around and leave. Like, a lot of the bad encounters are because people are missing those subtle signs. Everything is subtle. Unless they get to the point where they're frustrated, then it's, you know, loud and proud. But, you know, if they scream and they're waving their arms, it's not necessarily aggression. It can be, but it also can be you are going to walk into something that was dangerous to you, or they have their children there. Like, I've had them warn me because there was one that was from a different clan that wasn't nice and was coming into the area, you know, and they would mind speak with me and say, go to the house. And I'd be like, why? What's wrong? I want the explanation. And they're like, go to the house. You know, and then I got yelled at. Like and I didn't really get yelled at. It was just like, you know, go. And I'm like, fine, you know, cop an attitude, I'll go in. And that's what it was. And then I look out in my yard and it's like this rock throwing back and forth from one side of the yard to the other. I'm like, okay, I got it. You know, I've learned that whatever my first instinct is when I'm out there, follow that. Don't think about it. That disconnect when you read the energies gets to your brain, screws you up every single time. Just, you know, go with your gut instinct. Read the energy that you get. If you feel uncomfortable, it's not your day. Go back another day. Doesn't mean you can't be there ever, but that's not your day. Something's there that doesn't want you there. They would prefer to get that point across to you that way than have to be in some kind of an altercation. You know, so listen to your body. If it doesn't feel warm and fuzzy, that's not where you need to be. And the ones that want you around or that are going to follow you around, they're not going to put out those bad vibes. They're just going to let you come in.
Yeah, I didn't listen. Don't get bit. I was a paramedic firefighter, and I was attacked on duty by a pit bull, and something in my head told me not to get bit, and I related it to chihuahuas on a porch, and well, I'm now medically retired. So
yeah, I've had it where, you know, I've never been zapped, but you know, I was out one time and it was at night and the dog had gotten out. I was out looking for the dog and I got hit with the wall of fear. And I was like, got the message, I'm out of here. You know, I went out on some property that I own and I went to look at it. And I knew there were dogmen there. I knew there were Sasquatch there. Went to go out on this property. And I thought, oh, this is nice. This is wonderful. I get ready to leave. And I knew the dogmen were up towards the front. And I'd already went by him once and it was great. I went to leave and I got hit with this wall of fear. And I thought, there's no way you could pay me any amount of money in the world to stay here. And then it dawned on me what they were doing. And I'm like, okay, here's the way this goes down. I can get this property and then the bad men with guns aren't going to come here. Or they can sell it and parcel it out and the bad men can come. What do you want me to do? And then I got hit with the love bubble, which is just like this projection of nothing but pure love. And I'm like, okay, now we're good. And they've been wonderful ever since. Like really and truly just phenomenal. Couldn't be any nicer. But, you know, they hit me with that wall of fear. And I thought that was the most intense one I ever had. Didn't hurt. It just scared the crap out of me. And I mean, I was terrified. And then it dawned on me, it's like, duh, this is what's going on, you know, and now it's not an issue.
Where are you located?
I'm located in South Carolina right now.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm in Kentucky, so we have a lot of
Are you?
woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be moving shortly and hopefully shortly. I've been trying for the last year. So yeah, I'm moving out of state, but, South Carolina is okay. I love my children and my grandchildren that are here, but that's about as far as it goes. I love my cryptids that are here. They're very well behaved. I've had a lizard man in my backyard. He was wonderful. I didn't have any issues with them. Cat people, ETs. I have a video of UFOs flying over the house that my son-in-law took while we were watching it from the porch. MUFON looked at it and said it was 100% not terrestrial. And they were so impressed with it when my son-in-law sent it to them, they played it at their top symposium for the year. So we get a lot of activity here, you know, and I'll miss the ones that are here. They're welcome to join me. But yeah, I'm ready for a change.
Where do you want to move to?
I'm going to be moving out in the Texas area only because I never really wanted to live in Texas. The only reason I'm going to Texas is because I do run, and I'm an assistant manager for the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And so and Harriet McFeely is the owner and I adore her and she needs help with the museum and I want to be able to help her with that. I have clients that are spread out all over the United States, as well as I have clients that are outside in other countries as well around the globe. But the ones that are in the US, I try to get out there as much as I can. And it's kind of a centralized place. I don't know how long I'll stay there, but yeah, me and my animals are going to go. We're going to do this. We're going to do this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is. Wendell in the chat wants to know when he is going to see one and does he have a Bigfoot near him? He's jumping up and down.
Is he? I'm trying to see if I can zero in on him.
He's a really odd, strange.
He's got a couple things around him. He's got a little person that follows him around as well. There is a youngster. It's blonde. It's probably about 5 foot. It's just one of the kids. At 5 foot, you're talking probably 8 or 9 years. But he does have he's got more dimensional and elementals around him. And definitely little people.
I can see that with Wendell.
I've never met him. I don't know, but that's what I'm getting.
You'll know.
And the blonde colored child, he said he thinks that Wendell's funny. I don't know. I don't know him. I'm sorry. All right. Is he a comical person? Because he says he thinks he's funny. He said he laughs a lot when he watches them.
That makes sense.
Yep. That's Wendell.
Does it? I don't know him. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, Wendell.
No. When you meet Wendell, you'll know. We lovingly say once you meet Wendell, you've been Wendelled, because he'll sneak up on you, take your picture, and then come back 5 minutes later and introduce himself.
Yeah.
Well, he does say that his mom and dad know that he likes to watch Wendell. and he doesn't get in trouble for it. So he must have a kind heart, because otherwise they would have put the kibosh on that a while ago.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
He does.
Well, I know.
So if he's around you, I guarantee you there's others.
Well, I'm sure there is with Wendell. We only wanted to keep you an hour. I know you got in a little bit late, but it's getting late, so I'm going to let you go so that you don't have to stay up with us. Well, I got a lot of work to do, but if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how can they do it?
You can find me on Facebook under it. There's 2 accounts. You want the one that just says Robin Haynes, Haynes, no middle initial, or you can check out my website and reach me through there. It's www.paranormal-empowerment.com.
Okay. Have you written a book, by the way?
No, I have been asked for probably the last 10, 12 years to write a book. And I've started it about 4 times. One about the flesh and blood aspect, and one about the paranormal aspect, and then another one about the things that I do. And I scrapped that one because I would not want anybody to use the things that I do and actually hurt the Sasquatch or any cryptids with it. But I have never done it. And it's just really odd. Every time I start to write it, I don't. The one thing that they do want me to tell everybody, and this, I do this on every show, because if not, they are not going to quit bugging me in my head all night long. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions on what they are. You know, they are not monsters. They are not Nephilim. And, you know, the ones that are good believe that they are from Creator. They are very spiritual. So that's, you know, that's the message that they always make sure that I put out there. I was quiet for a long time. After I did the Russian conference, and then there was a kidnapping attempt, and then somebody was going to bash my head in with a pipe so that the Sasquatch would come in and save me, and they could get one that way. I went quiet, and I just went back out in the woods with the cryptids and my kids. My kids all grew up around these things, and I just went quiet. And then 7 years ago, they came to me and they said, it's time. And I said, for what? You know, you got a job for me to do? Because they send me all over the place. So I was fine with that. I can do that quietly behind the scenes. No, you have to tell the people the truth. And I said, nobody will listen to me. And they said, it doesn't matter. The words will matter. The ones that are supposed to know will know. And I was like, all right. So if the whole world laughs at me, then I guess the whole world laughs at me. I'm fine with it. I'm comfortable with it. And I just kind of, you know, have gone from then. And when they tell me they're done with me doing this, then I'll go back out in the woods and disappear.
Sometimes that makes us all feel safer just to get away. So, yeah. Robin, thank you. And
thank you.
I would love to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
So,
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, if I can just get this talk studio thing to let me in.
Because we have a blast. Amanda, it was great to see you. So.
You too, Robin. I sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Do it. We can talk, girlfriend. You got all kinds of stuff going on around you. Dear Lord have mercy. Yeah, they all like you.
I do. Yep.
How do you not like her? So
I know. She's precious.
That's a funny story. She was attracted to me. I interviewed her for a show, and then she's never left. I can't get rid of her.
Yep.
So
I just show up.
Good.
I'm not trying.
You can
to.
show up anytime I'm here.
I'm not trying to. No, I don't want anybody to think that. But yeah, I mean, it was like, she's a keeper. I gotta have her. So
she's amazing. I can see why they like her. Like, you really do. You have a pure heart, and your frequency is off the charts. Like, there's a reason they like you. What is the deal with the dishes on your counter?
The dishes on.
They are talking about dishes on your counter. They want one of the dishes on your counter.
They want one of the dishes?
Yeah, they're like all excited about a white dish. I don't even know what color your plates are. They're talking about some dish. I have no idea. I know I had a blue plate years ago. I had a blue plate sitting on the kitchen counter, and I made homemade cookies on it. I literally went in to use the restroom, which was my first mistake. I came back. I've never seen that plate of the cookies again. And I found out later on, one of the Sasquatch said, thank you. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I had that plate all of 2 days. Like, literally. Could I have the plate back? You know? It's crazy. But yeah, you have things missing in your home. You do have little things that come up missing in your home. And they said to tell you thank you.
Oh. Welcome.
I can have a show.
I don't
just
claim
on
to
this.
ever know what they mean. I just know I pass along the messages.
Right? Maybe we should do a show where I just carry my laptop through the house and show her my house.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They're cracking up. They're just having a ball. And the little people are even worse. They're like little kleptos. I mean, I'm telling you what,
gosh.
they just are a trip. Oh my word. But see, once you get the thing about you, and you're probably already noticing this, and you as well, but when you get in that higher frequency, your vision changes. Okay. So you see people that have pictures and they say, oh, it's all pareidolia. And a lot of times it is. Honestly, it is. But the other part of that is people that are looking through 3D eyes will never see them in those photos. Maybe in flesh and blood, but not when they're not in flesh and blood. When you go into the higher frequencies, you're now looking through what I call the paranormal spectrum, which is through higher frequencies. So you're going to pick out these things in the photos that other people can't. So like in your case, Amanda, you're probably noticing things dart around your room, or shadows every now and then. Or Glenn, you're the same way. And it's because you're looking through the paranormal spectrum at a higher frequency. So that's why you're able to see them, where you could have somebody that doesn't know anything about these things standing next to you and not see it at all.
Yeah.
But it's because you're looking through the higher frequency paranormal spectrum.
Nice. Makes sense.
All right.
So it's like, welcome to the club.
There you go. Amanda, you may have a new partner there. So
yeah.
There you go. We can have some fun.
Oh yeah.
I don't doubt that. Thank you for coming on, and
thank you
back. And if you and Amanda want to do a show, just let me know. I'll just do the stuff behind the scenes.
Well, I would love to come back. You guys are amazing. I always have a good time.
Well,
thank you so much.
Have a great night, and be safe in these storms that are coming your way. So.
Yeah, thank you. You as well. Take care, everybody. Sorry if I talked your ear off.
It was fantastic.
Oh, well, take care.
Bye-bye, Robin. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I love it. That was great.
She's great. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, Wendell says that would be a great show. That's an idea. It's an idea. So. I would love it if Cheyenne had been here.
Yes.
She had to work, so yeah, well, it sucks, but it's okay. We'll get her back. So yeah, I would love to have just you two going, and I would just sit back and that would be
she
great.
was fun. I love it.
She's got a lot of good energy. That's
yes. What, I was like, oh yeah, I'm so adding her on Facebook.
I knew what you were doing. I was like, she's a stalker. So.
I made it. I made it for the whole show. I can't believe it.
You did. I was looking at the weather, and it's not to us yet. I think it's starting to stall. So I don't know if it's good or bad, but
I don't know. I keep glancing over. I have the radar on my phone, and I keep glancing over at it, and I'm like, oh, it's at Louisville now.
Yeah. It's almost to Nashville, so it'll be about 2 hours away if it's in Nashville now. So great, overnight, yay, good times.
It's not too far from us now, so I made it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm glad you made it. Because I was concerned about you in general, but I was kind of wanting to have somebody to kick around, and the Dizzle never fails. So
yeah.
No, you never know what you're going to get with the Dizzle. Good Lord. So,
no, you don't.
But that's kind of like the Dizzle effect. He pops in, he pops out. And it's, what the hell just happened? So,
yeah.
So, what do we got coming up? Do you have a show next Monday night, right?
Yes, we'll have Monday Night Horrors, Cheyenne and myself, and we're going to continue on. I believe we're at the 70s now. So we'll continue on with the horror movies of the 70s, and we'll be getting a lot more movies to talk about. So that'll be fun. And eventually we'll get to the 80s.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in on the 80s. So, cool. All right. So we'll have that Monday. And then let's see. Of course, I have the daytime show from 1 till 3 tomorrow and Friday, weather permitting, obviously. And then we have the football show Sunday night at 7. with Jeff and his son Jake. So that's always fun. And I looked in next week on our schedule. It's an interesting lineup next weekend. The 9:00 guest, I haven't confirmed yet, and I need to go back and find out why. I've got a question mark beside their name, but the 10:00 guest is a famous comic book artist. So
nice.
Writer and artist. So I'm looking forward to that.
Sweet.
And he's got some great stuff. So
nice.
Wendell said he was trying to reach her and Amanda with MindSpeak, and neither one can hear me. So he's creeping on you. He's creeping on you.
Uh-oh.
So you're gonna have to put up your
put up my shield.
What is it? I just pictured the Disney character that did that. So what? Scarlet Witch. So
yeah.
So all right. Well, be careful because Wendell's trying to. Abe, watch out for Wendell. So everybody have a great night. Stay storm safe. I say this on my other show. Make sure you have a weather radio that you can listen in on. Have a flashlight and some kind of tool with you at all times, whether it's just a little pocket knife. You never know. You might get caught up in wires or something. So have something with you at all times. So, but stay safe. I will see everybody tomorrow at 1, and we will see you Monday night.
At 8.
It's at 8. You guys are keeping me on my toes. And I will still be broadcasting live from my mom's attic. So thank you to Yerg's Radio for allowing us in. Rainbow Radio, Bigfoot Radio Network, Pine Island FM. We appreciate and love you. Can't remember your call sign, but we love you.
WZQR.
WZQR. That's it. I get that. And well, this isn't on Radio Australia, but we will catch everybody soon. Have a great night.